Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to How Do You Do Red, White, and Blue? I am Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art. Welcome to this YouTube collab hosted by Dawn from Shabby Meets Bling, Monica from Up All Night DIY, and Jody from Southern Seasons. Again, I am Teresa. I'm going to turn you guys around and we are going to get started. I'm an acrylic artist and I have a really fun painting for you today. I have out, obviously, my red, white, and blue, and I have multiple blues. I'm going to load my brush up with some white and pick up some light blue, and I'm just going to paint a really whimsy, busy background. Mostly white, a little light blue. I'm not worried about how much white I get on my brush because my canvas is white. And so if I miss a spot or two, that's okay. But I want to see a lot of variation in color. And I'm going to do this whole thing with mostly white and light blue. And then I'm going to pick up one of my darker blues. I think the royal blue, the true blue. And I'm just going diagonally back and forth and being messy. This is the background, and although we want our background to look good, it is not the focal point of our art. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this blue, this royal blue, true blue, and I'm just going to come in here, pick up a little white again, and put a few swashes of this dark blue into my painting. Again, I'm mixing with the white. I want it to blend in, so I'm picking up white on my brush, picking up a little bit of this true blue, and coming back to my painting. White, a little bit of true blue, and coming back to my painting. We don't want to overdo it. I'm always putting white on my brush, and then picking up a little bit of the dark blue, and coming back to my surface. Okay? Okay? And now I'm just going to make sure that this is dry. I'm going to grab this stencil. I think I'm going to put it straight. So I'm going to line it up with my page. I only want the anchor. I don't want the rope. I just want the anchor. I'm going to grab a stencil brush. I'm going to get my dark blue. When you stencil, you want to load your brush, but then you want to pounce it off. You want hardly any paint on your brush. You want to avoid bleeds. And I'm coming back here, and I'm now going to stencil on this anchor. I could draw one, and I could fill it in and paint it, but since I have this stencil, why not? And I like the coverage that I'm getting right now. Not too much, bounce it off. Not too much, it looks a little distressed, and I like that. That's the look I'm going for. Those of you who don't paint or you feel intimidated by painting, grab a stencil. It's not cheating, it's creating. And that's why we have stencils. That's why we use the tools that we have. Okay? So that is the first layer. I live on Long Island, so we are surrounded by water and salt water. And so I like to visit the beach. And when asked to do something red, white, and blue, I think of Memorial Day, the start of this summer season, and I think of 4th of July, which is also our summer season. And so I went right to Nautical and Flag when I decided to join this red, white, and blue YouTube collab. I'm just taking my brush, my little liner brush, and I'm filling in, and I'm not painting it in, I'm just dabbing it in. I'm filling in, they're called bridges, that keep the stencil together. This way, my anchor is one solid piece. You don't have to do this. You can if you want. And when you do fill in your bridges, it is better to use a stamping motion like I am than it is to use strokes, because then it won't really match the stencil. or where you stenciled. Okay, so you want to dab at it so it looks like the whole thing was done like that. All right, and I'm going to wash that. And then I'm going to grab my dryer again. Then I'm going to grab this distressed stencil flag that I have. This is from Essential Stencil. You can hop onto my link and grab this flag and other stencils and rub-ons from Essential Stencil. Use my code Stencil Spot for 10% off. I love Essential Stencils. They have great quality Mylar reusable stencils. And I'm just going to, this is going to go sideways and off the page a little bit. I'm just trying to see where I want it. I think up here, because all this is going to be blue and I don't want most of it to then cover. I'm going to use my same stencil brush. I'm just going into a little bit lighter blue and I'm going to start stenciling on here. Always tapping off my stencil brush, unloading it after I put some paint on, then I offload it. You should not have any bleeds. I'm going to grab a smaller stencil brush now for my red. I'm also pouncing it off, and now I'm coming back here. I'm holding my stencil down with my fingers, and I'm going to pounce in my stripes. Pick up some paint, pounce it off, and then come back. I'm going to walk my finger down so I can hold my stencil down snug. If you wanted to tape it down, you can. I don't really know the reason. I'm a messy painter anyway, so I don't mind walking my fingers down where I have to on my stencil and tapping in where I need to tap in and holding it down where I need to hold it down. I'm just going to keep walking my fingers down as I work my way down this stencil. This is such a fun and simple project. You could even print off an anchor from the internet, trace it on, paint it in, or put something else that is symbolic of where you live. I love the beach. I love living on Long Island. Not in the winter, but definitely in the summer. And when I think red, white, and blue, I think of Memorial Day weekend, which kicks off the summer season here on Long Island. And I definitely think of 4th of July. 2 important parts of stenciling. You want to make sure your stencil is not going to move around, whether you tape it down or hold it with your fingers. And you want to apply light coats. You always want to have something, whether it's a paper towel or a rag or your palette, whatever it is, to pounce off your stencil brush on. This is distressed anyway, so it's going to have like that grungy look to it. So I don't totally care if you can see my anchor through the back, but there's no reason why I can't come back here and put a second coat on it so you see less of the anchor. Using stencils is such a fun way to get really good results and create something really cool that you didn't think that you could create to begin with. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just going to hold my hand down here. I'm going to lift up, see how it looks. Oh, I think it looks good. All right, I'm going to put this up and I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to wash that later. That will wash really, really well with a little warm soapy water and I'll be good to go. Now I'm going to get my stars and put them up here on the blue part. Again, I'm going to use a makeup sponge this time, and I'm still going to offload it or tap off the paint and then come back up here to my stencil. Light coats, not too much pressure. Sometimes there's plenty of paint in what I offload to just pick that up for the next round. Again, I'm using my fingers. I'm holding it down. And I'm doing 2 coats so I can get some really good bright white stars on here. Now, I didn't get any star here, so I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to put in another star there. Isn't that cool? Now I'm going to take my white, and I'm going to just paint in some messy white stripes. And again, because this is grungy, these don't have to be exact. I don't want to go right up to my red because my red looks really cool. I'm just using a little bit of white on the edge of the chisel edge of my brush, and I'm adding in some white stripes. I don't want these to be perfect. They're just coming in here, and I'm just roughly adding them in, and then they go off on a diagonal. And there you have it. How cool is that? Simple, easy peasy. Got some white down there from something else. Pick up my blue. Simple, easy peasy, red, white, and blue project using a few colors and a stencil and 2 stencils, especially my favorite stencils from Stencil. The distress flag comes in 2 pieces with the flag and the stars. I use those stars on everything. Got my little nautical anchor in the back. I'm going to get my brush. My initials down here. And there you have it. Let me turn you guys around. Thank you for joining me for this simple red, white, and blue flag tutorial. Thanks to our hosts, Dawn, Monica, and Jody, and we'll see you next time.